AITA for threatening divorce if my husband doesn't completely cut his mother out of his life. I had my daughter 3 months ago, and I just found out today that my MIL sent pictures of my daughter to my brother-in-law, her son, in prison. He's in prison and on the sex registry for having a relationship with a girl who was 14, just turned 14, when he was 27. He won't get the pictures because everything is monitored, so I'm not concerned on that aspect. But she just nonchalantly brought it up. Like, oh yeah, I sent Billy pictures of Nina and the rest of the family the other day, but I haven't heard anything back yet, fake names of course. She said it to her husband when my husband wasn't in the room. I snapped. She knows I don't even post pictures on social media of my kid. I asked her why she would be sending photos of my daughter to a pedophile, and she literally just stared at me, shell-shocked, and didn't say anything. Just turned back to her husband and started talking about something different. I went out to where my husband was, garage, and told him we were leaving, now. Maybe it was my tone, but he immediately followed and on the way home asked WTF was going on. I told him and immediately followed it with if she's not welcome around our daughter anymore, and she's definitely not welcome at our home. I want no picture sent to her of our daughter either. He said he completely understands, and he's just as pissed as I am, but thinks cutting her out completely is too harsh. He says that we should just tell her she's not allowed to take pictures of our daughter under any circumstances and tell her not to send any more photos of our daughter to his brother. I said that's not good enough. We should never have to tell her not to send our daughter's pictures to a pedophile. I will never be able to look at her or be in the same room as her, and I don't want her near my daughter at all, and therefore, my word is final, and either he cuts her out completely or we can get a divorce and bring the issue in front of a judge. I understand I went from 0 to 100, but it was his whole, well, she probably meant nothing by it talk that really fucked me up, and in that moment, I saw him as being just as bad as his mom. He says, wow, so fuck me, right? Yes, let me just cut off the only family I have left over a fucking mistake or I lose you and my kid. Perfect. So glad we are compromising and talking like adults. I'm standing by my statement. If he brings her around, we will be divorced as soon as a judge will see us. A good friend of mine thinks I'm being an however, because it's not my husband's fault this happened. She's right. It's not his fault. But him wanting to keep his mom in our life after this is what brought this on. AITA? ETA, she did something similar with my BIL's daughter, 6. His rights were terminated and there was an open investigation to figure out whether he had been sexually abusing his daughter. Before any of us figured out what the results were, the mother blocked all of us from her and her kid's life because my MIL kept bringing photos and letters of / from my BIL and giving them to the kid after being told she wasn't allowed to, not only because the mother didn't want her to, but also because there was an investigation, because she didn't feel like the child's mother had any rights to take away her granddaughter's father's memory. She also believes her son is innocent, they were in a relationship, he wouldn't hurt a fly, and says she knew what she was doing in reference to the child her son was raping. So no, I'm not going to sit down with MIL and tell her why it's wrong to send photos of my daughter to a pedophile. I shouldn't have to. She deserves no such grace. As for my husband, he has a daughter now. His only concern should be keeping his daughter safe and not exploited, not defending his mom, who sent photos of his daughter to a pedophile. I'm sure he is hurt, you guys are right. But I am still not budging on this. Don't defend pedophiles and their enablers.